I will present some slides about a Digitalcity project which we are running. It's not a theoretical project. And I'm happy that I heard that Mirella presented Darmstadt as well on Thursday. And we did not know about that. So it was really fun that we have a similar topic with the similar people involved. She had the same contact as I had. So I will introduce myself. I'm 48 years old, married, I have a daughter. I work since 31 years now in the same company, which is not so usual in Germany. I'm an electrical engineer. My interests are volunteer engagement. I do a lot, sometimes too much in this area. Networking, creative thinking, so I always want to find a solution on issues. And this is the contact for LinkedIn. You see here. It will be in the slides later on. I work at Andreas. That's a big company in process automation, worldwide company. But I'm here as the senior president of the institute, the European Institute, as Klaus, not Klaus, Lutz is the president. So I have two roles here, and mainly I represent the volunteer role. But I can say something before I start this to what we as a company want to have. We are a profit company, and not a non-profit. My company, Andreas, and we invest in sustainable projects. To generate profit in the future, of course, because we want to survive as everybody of us wants to do. This is what we see the way to the digital cities and regions, the new urban agenda. I don't know if you heard about it. Maybe it was also a theme from this. It was presented in Kyoto, and it says we commit ourselves to adopting a smart city approach that makes use of opportunities from digitalization, clean energy and technologies, as well as innovative transport technologies, thus providing options for inhabitants to make more environmentally friendly choices and boost sustainable economic growth, enabling cities to improve their service delivery. I need to read it because it's a lot, but it says a little bit what we heard before. I think it was group 2. You presented it, didn't you? Yeah, sustainable cities and communities. So it's exactly what this agenda wants to say. In Germany, we have the Bitkom Smart City Index. Bitkom is a community of 2,000 companies which are in this community. Some of the biggest companies in Germany join it, most telecommunication, IT companies, and they have about 11,000 measures which a city needs to fulfill to get ranked. And these are some of these 11,000 points where they measure. As you see here, I don't go through everything in detail. And Darmstadt at the last year it was place 5, and they want to become the top 3 city in Germany as a digital city. And this is the community who will vote that. Smart city, what is a smart city? It's a place where use of technologies facilitates everyday lives. City is considered as smart when it's using information communication to enhance its livability, workability, and its sustainability by connecting people, information, and city elements in one. So in order to succeed, cities are using technology who goes by the name of Internet of Things. I will come to this in the next slides. Which are the drivers? you have, of course, the issue of the inadequate infrastructure. Darmstadt is one of the cities with the most traffic in the city, because everybody needs to go through the city for the eastern and west connection of the Autobahn and north and south. And in the middle of that is Darmstadt, with no connection between the Autobahns. So everybody needs to cross Darmstadt. You have, of course, the resource scarcity. The technology is improving all of the time, getting better, needs lower energy. Urbanization, we had this also in your groups. More and more people move to cities. Darmstadt is not the biggest one, but we do also model projects for other cities, for example in China, which are built on a plan now. Some of our cities used to be built 100 years ago, but it's not the first plan with the focus of sustainability. So cities in the world represented 2% of the surface, but they're responsible for between 70 and 80% of the greenhouse effect with these 2%. So if you want to do something, you need to start with the cities. So you have the biggest effect. Darmstadt wanted to become, as I said, top 3 of this Bitkom. They want to be called a digital city. In the past they were called City of Science. And now they want to change this. They want to become the digital city of Germany. And they want to be a lighthouse for that, so they can multiply this, what we work out in Darmstadt, to the other cities. I think Mirella told us about the strategy for the digital city of Darmstadt 2 days or 1 day before. So, yeah, they want to make Darmstadt attractive and worth living. It's also a student city. A lot of universities are in Darmstadt. The digital solutions are valuable for the citizens, as well for business and science. They offer secure and sovereign handling of the data. They want to strengthen the participation and ensure more sustainable use of the resources. So I was talking also with the responsible persons there. My focus is water, but there's also the air measurement stations. We want to measure the ribbon of the tires, which is falling down. Of course, we count the traffic to find solutions for smart traffic management in the city. All these things. Here we have today, my issue is the smart water. As part of the Digital City project where Mirella talked about. And it was also the context of the BMI funding line. BMI is the Minister of Internal Affairs. I hope the translation is correct. And they did the funding line for smart city model projects and smart cities made in Germany. So what is smart water about? We heard a lot about smart water. Also, what is smart? What is a smart city? There are nowadays some description about it, and it's fixed in the digital paper of the city of Darmstadt. So the objective of smart water management is reasonable and sustainable usage, recycling of water resources. It shall take account of growing population, increase the environmental issues and pressure on the food and agriculture sector. In this respect, we have the following objects. So elevating greater threats of water quality, meeting the increased demand, increase efficiency, reliability in water distribution, reducing waste of energy and resources, for example in the treatment plants, adapting impacts of climate change on urban waters, improving stormwater, wastewater networks, coping with higher flooding risks. We had it here also 1 week ago. I don't know if you had it when you were here, the flood. Yeah. And protect water against accidental consequential damage and terrorist attacks. These might come in future if water is getting more and more worse. Maybe this will be also in scope. And create a digital system for a variety of applications. So knowledge about the water, but also to give you some advices. I have some examples also within here. As I said, it's a BMI project, so it was a funding project. How did we start? We created a vision of a smart water model project. I was partly involved and supported how we can set it up. Then we built up a network of partners. I am one of these partners with my company. Klaus Arendt, I don't know if Mirella, she was there when she was in Darmstadt. He's the economical part of Darmstadt. He's a big influencer and decision maker of that. Of course, you need partners in each area, so if not, you cannot run such a project. And then we did, or they did, the funding application, and it was also successful. So there are now 13 million euros to build up a model project for smart water in Darmstadt. Last year it was applied. We wrote available and future technologies. Not everything is available where we are thinking about. So we have a lot, other companies have a lot, but some things are missing and we expect they will be developed in future. What you need for everything that is smart is a sensor and a connectivity. If not, you cannot control, measure, make something. So it was really important to have a data connectivity inside the city for everything you want to have and everywhere. That's also an issue. If you have cellular phone, you go to the cellar here, maybe it does not work, maybe it does, but if you go to a bunker, for example, we have it there, or really underground, you don't have any connection. If you go to the sewer systems, there's also no connection. This was an issue. And then we created a project plan. We started with this pilot project and some sub-projects, which I will show. Where we started right now. It's a smart irrigation, so I can come back to the question you had. Yeah, with the farming, it's similar. Analytics, checking the water quality, not only checking the water amount or the loss of water, also what is inside the water, use of the water and the water scarcity. Darmstadt is maybe not the worst place regarding water in the world, but it should become a model project, so we have this in mind. But also Darmstadt is very much affected. We had very much dry periods the last years, and I think I talked about you several times.
And I'm here.
Also in Darmstadt, I think it was beginning of last year, there was a flood like it was here, which never have been before there. Nobody thought it could be flooded like that, Darmstadt. So you have a year, there's a flood, and you have 2 years, there's no water at all. So you need to manage this somehow. Yeah. The resilience, or we go with the improving of the water quality at home, of course. The water is good there. In Germany, we have an issue with nitrate. It's above the EU level, and Germany has the special condition to have a higher level than the other countries, but it's not really good. So we need to get down with the nitrate, and there are some water plants who are reducing the nitrate, for example, and the other things. The resilience of drinking water supply network, especially with the deep wells, also the sorting of this, the mixture of the water. Use tap water instead of bottled water is also part of the project. You have these bottles, you can put the sparkle inside instead of using all the bottles as you see here. Reduces, it has really reduced decreases the CO2 footprint with that. Moisture management in trees and plants, it's connected to that one, to the smart irrigation, and the digital city lab, so where everybody of Darmstadt city can join and work on digitalization. So they have a networking space, they do virtual hackathons to help Darmstadt to become the digital city of Germany, and other projects. Too much to list, I would say. Key challenges, there are some we worked out. I will come to some examples of them which are marked here. The network coverage, as I said before, which is an issue. I also clustered it a little bit now with the colors. The availability of water, storage, collection, smart rain barrels was an idea within this project, you like it. Intelligent water supply, like I call it smart water grid. I don't know if this is a valid word. The smart grid is for electricity, and I talked with Klaus Arendt, who's the responsible person there, that we can do this with water also. If a water line is broken, we get the water feed from the other side. So we will have always a water supply because all the lines are connected, which gives some new risks which are not there before, because also pollution can come from all sides. So you need to measure more. Minimization of loss. This is really a big business worldwide. A lot of companies are working on this yet. There are many solutions. If there's loss, you may have a leakage, or you have a leakage. With a leakage, there can come pollution inside, but also leakage can mean somebody is stealing water, doing some connections by themselves, whatever. So if you see a loss, something is happening which you don't want. And if you monitor also the losses, you can see if there's an accident. Some workers cut a water line or whatever, and you see it immediately, and you can stop the water line, close it, and then use the smart water grid to bring it from the other side. Then I took here the flood protection, the rain events in relation to discharge capacity, also security against attacks, IT, biological, chemical, whatever, which is also connected to these. And then we have all the irrigation parts here. So operational planning, this means for irrigation, for example, in Darmstadt, they do it. Sometimes they have it like here with the tubes. Sometimes, or many times, they use trucks with water inside, and they go out every 2 weeks when it's hot every week and put water on each plant, as they need to do, 8 hours a day. But nobody knows if the plants want to have water at the moment, if they need it. And if the water is empty, they don't go. So the plant needs to wait until there will be water. So we want to automate this, to have water reserves and have a planned activity for these trucks to go out. If they are still driving, better it would be to have an automated pipeline system for irrigation. Efficiency, yeah, as I said, fewer journeys of these trucks, less water consumption. Urban cooling is also an issue. If you collect the water, you can use it also for cooling. You can use it for irrigation, but also for cooling of the city. Intelligent irrigation, yeah, it needs also as a sensor the moisture measurement. And as Darmstadt has the biological university, you have also experts there who can tell you how much of water which kind of plant needs. So you cannot say it's humid, it's okay. You need to know which kind of tree this is and how much he needs. So this is also something where it's worked out. And then, of course, I have an example where we have some publications on. It's the monitoring of the bathing waters in Darmstadt, bathing establishments. Because of all the sustainability, you do something, but in the end, you need to know what a human wants to have. Or we as a company would say the customer. So you need to go in that place and what does he want to have? He wants, of course, to have good water. He doesn't care about all the sensors. Can I drink it or can I not drink it? And if he wants to go out to the sea or to the swimming pool, he wants to know if it's good to go swimming. In Germany, is the lake warm enough? It's one of the most important parts sometimes. And the second one is, are there algae inside? Is it green? Can I swim there without getting sick? So we measure the water clarity also. We can measure the algae. And of course, the temperature is always measured. This is really important for a lot of the people. Yeah, and monitoring bodies of water, rivers, streams, lakes, ponds, the quality, water level, temperature. So these are the examples I picked out. So these are 4 examples I will go to. The data network coverage, of course, you have the Wi-Fi 5G now, but we focus a lot on the LoRaWAN. I don't know if you know it. It's really nice technology. You can have on a straight line up to 10 kilometers connection with a really low power. So if you have a sensor and you need a battery, better you use a small solar panel. This battery will last some years before you have to change it. And if this is not 10 kilometers, you can go at least some 50, 100 meters on the ground through concrete walls. And this is really good. So we are testing it at the moment in an old atomic bunker in Darmstadt and get the data through this bunker, because below the bunker there's a water well, a big one, which was created in the 60s. And this water is there down there without being used for 60 years now. And we want to use it for irrigation, for example. It will be filled. It's filled by the groundwater. So if you pump it up, it will not be empty. But it's still unused under this, and we want to get it up and use it for irrigation for dry periods. And therefore we want to know exactly how many water is there all of the time, and what is the quality after these years. Is there something inside? Can we use it? It's for irrigation, so it's not that critical as for drinking water. Yeah. Klaus Ahren is in a company called HEAG. They are the economic part of Darmstadt, as I said. They have 150 companies belonging to them. And one of them is Entega. It's it's the major energy supplier in Darmstadt. And with them together, we create a LoRaWAN network. At the moment, they have 25 senders, and the plan is to supply Darmstadt via the street lighting network. So everywhere there's a street light, you can put in a LoRaWAN sensor, and you will have a sensor network everywhere. This is not, you cannot use LoRaWAN for Netflix, for example, for streaming, only for data transmission. It doesn't have a big range, but it's good enough for all of the sensors you want to install in the future. So it's really good. So this is the first setup we need to build up anything: air measurement, traffic management, and smart water. The smart water availability and loss. We need to understand the water system first. We need to see if there are some leaks. It's mostly made with pressure management. If the pressure goes down, there's leakage, but also flow measurement, and these at measurement points. So not at the beginning, at the end, also in between where where the grid will be or is. And monitoring, of course, of the quality. At the moment, you have the drinking water plant, and you measure the quality when it leaves the plant, but you never measure when it comes to your house. And this is also what we want to do. We want to measure and distribution points directly before the quarters or the houses. So if these are big houses, we can put a measurement inside, and now we get the data outside, which was an issue before because the water supply is mostly in the cellar underground, and you didn't get the data out if you did not go with telecommunication company who will support this. Yeah, and this is to set up these distribution points, smart water grid, the building supply lines and fire hydrants as well. We measure there, the idea we want to install it is if there's water taken out or coming in. By coming in, this is a potential risk also for attacks. Put in some poisons into the fire hydrant lines. So if you see there's something happening, there need to be the fire engineers, fire worker, they can tell you they are doing something with this, or a construction company is taking water, or something is happening which you don't want. Rainwater, flood control, so I can come to your question. Yeah, we need to change it because it's also a result of the climate change, as I said, with the dry periods, the flood periods. You don't know how much you need this water, or you need to hold back the water. So how can we deal with this? We also made some brainstorming. We will measure first the rain events outside of Darmstadt and do some studies what effects will come through the sewer systems. And if the water comes, you can put on pumps and get it out of the city before the city will be flooded. But better would be to capture the water, for dry events, for cooling, for whatever. Because now here the water is gone to the sea, maybe not used for irrigation. When there's a flood, you want to get rid of the water, but you don't store it. So first here is the flood control, alarm notification, do something, prevent damages, but you want also to keep the water. The smart rain barrels, it was an idea I heard, it's not my or our idea, but these are rain barrels you put on the rain line on houses. Yeah.
Already installed these like 5 years ago. We started, and after we finished installing them, because they are very expensive, like 3,000 euros a barrel. And when there's rain, you don't need to use the irrigation system. It captures the rain, but it is really hard to filter the rain which goes inside the barrels. So sophisticated systems. And when there's no rain, there's no water in the barrel also, because it loses a little bit. And also these are very huge barrels, but still not enough to water like a middle-sized garden. So it's a bit hard to.
I can tell the idea. When you walk to the city, and we walked a lot through the city the last days, and we saw all the irrigation pipelines here, and you see at the side of, for example, for the university, the rain pipes. Yes. And this is, the idea was a small tank, which is connected to the wall, not to the floor. And then you can use the hydrostatic pressure to irrigate the plants just there. Not the toilet or whatever, this is there, and this is more expensive. This should be cheap, easy to install, and irrigate exactly the plants next to it.
Yeah.
Smart. So you have a sensor.
Much smarter.
Yeah. This is the idea for this. Yeah.
Okay.
Not the underground barrels for your houses with the filter and the electrical system. This is what I meant here with.
Okay.
With all of these buildings, they put up the rainwater, they put it away.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that in like so just add that we already like wanted to experiment with that, and fortunately we had like clients who were open to this, but back then it was hard to approach. They only positivity they achieved with it that they could brag in the club after that they have smart barrels, but this is like much better what we just
the idea is to have it installed to the wall, to have a small solar panel on the top, to have the sensor for the data, have a moisture measurement here in the green stripes, measure the moisture, and if they need the water they get it. They don't get it after the rain or while the rain is, only when they need it, and it's an automated system. And then you have much more of the rain events, because when it's filled, there's an overflow afterward, but you have, for example, 200 liter on each building all around the city. So maybe you don't need to irrigate afterwards manually. It could be enough for the whole city. And nobody thought about this before, so it's an easy and smart system. But also smart controlled.
And this is developed by your company?
No, it's something for you. You can you can develop it. Capillary underfloor irrigation system is what I mentioned with the cooling of the city, but this is not easy possible in existing cities. If you build a new city, it's easy to make a big underfloor system and use it for irrigation and cooling with the condensed water. When I saw these plants here outside in this concrete, I told him, you can put half of it, put in water underwards and use this in a smart way for all these plants which are not in the earth. Could be also an easy system. And moisture measurement for irrigation control, what I said, with withdrawal and fleet management. Let me see if I have your question. With the farmers. If you do something like this, you have a perfect idea here in this classroom, what we can do for the farmers, measure moisture, control the irrigation, but it will never work if you are not a farmer, or you have a farmer who's open-minded to go with such a project. You cannot tell them, we had it in your presentation, what they have to do. They know really good what they have to do. And if you want to support them with a smart system, you need to have them in your team. And then you can set it up, because we are also involved in some of these projects with agriculture and also with the moisture measurement there. And we can reduce the water the plants need also, but if the farmer doesn't want, he does not do it. So more we use the world, this is still happening, is using the data connectivity, in the example in the US, to control all the tractors which are driving autonomically. They use the data system. You have the data system, so you could also use it for irrigation. There are some projects worldwide working on that. Bathing water, what I said, in general, the federal states in Germany, in EU, I think it's similar, are responsible for monitoring the water, and they should set up the information about this. They do, but I would say in a 6 months time, not daily. So if you go to the lake, you know that it has been tested in March this year. It was fine, but now it's May. Is it still fine? We don't know. So this is one thing we want to do. We want to measure and give the information in real time to the app of the citizens, and they see how the water quality is. This one we set up first as a test. Is live. It's within the system of Entega, and it will come to the app of Darmstadt. In the app of Darmstadt, it's you can find it, but you don't see the data. It's still in the island system of electrical supplier, but it will be connected.
Can I ask why they do it like every half a year? It's a difficult task, or why?
It's I would say it's the regulation.
Okay.
And they do it manually. They go there, take the sample, bring it to the lab. Maybe they do this, it depends on the lake, weekly.
Yeah.
But the reporting time they have to set up is 6 months. Yeah, so they report only every 6 months. They will tell you after a week when it's dangerous. This is faster. Yeah, I can say something to Corona. We are also on projects with Corona, which are really interesting. We are measuring, as a supplier, we also have the PCR test equipment, we produce them, and we measure the wastewater for Frankfurt Flughafen and other cities, and look for the Corona load inside. And we can tell the community if there will be an effect on the society before it occurs, because we can measure it from the wastewater. It's also an interesting project, but it's not a project in Darmstadt. This is why I did not list it here. Yeah, but you can make a predictive warning system with the viruses. It doesn't need to be Corona. It's at the moment it's set up to get the Corona information system. Yeah, and the other one is really the most beautiful swimming pool I know. Have you been there?
Just once, but yeah, very beautiful.
Yeah, it was a really old bath, and they restorated it, and it's more like a villa now than a bath. If you are inside, this is really looks luxury, but you can go in as a usual citizen. It's not really expensive.
A bit like Budapest.
Yeah. And there we have installed a measurement for the chlorine, for example, mostly to help the swimming pool to control the water quality, not for the public, but we will use it also for the public, that they can see the temperature for sure and the water quality. And we will make it transparent for everybody who wants to go swimming. This is just an example we do for the public sector, because the public sector will also tell us what they want to have in Darmstadt, because they want to use this app. We hope they will do. Most of the cities have some kind of this app. It's Darmstadt in the heart, the translation. And there you see what's going on, where you can go for a party. All of the sharing offers are inside. So everything happens in Darmstadt will be in this app. There's a lot inside yet, and there will be more and more. If you want to sell something, give away for free, whatever, everything you need as a citizen will be in this app. And we are working that all the water information will be there. It can tell you in your sector where you live, don't drink the water today, there's a damage. Immediately you get a red light and a warning inside this app that there's something happening. And we prefer the traffic light system red, yellow, green, because they are not interested in the values. You have a bad pH value today, think about what you will do. That's not what we want. Don't drink it. Or you can drink it, it's green, and the yellow should only be used for special cases. For example, for the lake, it's too cold, it could be yellow. This is what we are working on, but it doesn't, there's no need to measure everything. You need to do something with the data. And one thing is for the public, they want to have information. And the other thing is for the government, for us, to create early warning systems. There will be a rain event, and it could be that there's a flood. You can see it 2 days before. And when the rain comes down around the city, we know what will happen 5 hours later, because we know the sewer systems, we know how much rain will come and all these things. Dry periods, we see it's getting drier and drier. We will start all the irrigation collection tanks, whatever, and if the water is getting too low, we can tell the people not to water or irrigate their gardens for a period of time, or not to fill the pools. This is the first message. Combine everything.
Like in California.
Yeah, or in Las Vegas, yeah, wherever. Yeah, combine everything we saw before. All the things need to be combined to get artificial intelligence. This is, I think, the German. For monitoring, prediction, automation, public information, whatever. And if you combine it, you create much more value out of the single measurements. Create a traffic light system, as I said, but also store the data. Keep it. This is really important nowadays. If you can, you should do, I call it, it's like the data mining. Collect the data, and in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, you can look backwards and you can create a vision what will happen the next 5 years, because you know how much the rain or the poison will come through the ground to the groundwater, or whatever happens. If you store the data, you can give it to the universities or to somebody to create new visions out of it. So this is also something we want to set up. Yeah, with this project also for you, maybe it helps. Some obstacles we had. Yeah, the application for the funding, the release of funds is not, it's work, and sometimes it's luck. There are hundreds of cities who apply, and you are the one who get it, or you are not the one who will get it. It's also a bit of luck, and you need to describe really good what you are doing and why this is the best. But then it depends also on the people who are deciding who will get it. The coordination of the project partners, because everybody is a boss. This is really difficult in this project. There's not the one entity, and to get them all together is really difficult. Public projects. So we have a project, my company is investing a lot. Darmstadt has 13 million euro. I think they didn't spend anything yet. And now I said, yeah, I made some bills here. The next one, we paid for these baths, we paid for whatever. Now you can pay something. And we made a bill, and they said, oh, it's too expensive, we need a tender. Now we need to do a tender, help them with the tender, and then other company can get it as well. So it's really difficult to get these 13 million euros out. Yeah. So in 5 years, I still have the 30 million euros and the project will be done. I don't know. Focus on the sub-projects also, don't lose them. It gets more and more and more and more, and the university is doing something, this is doing something. Get it together, you need to bring these people together to talk about that. The technologies, you always have to have an eye on it, you have to be connected to many companies, because, yeah, as I heard with I don't know the name in the last, yeah. As you said, sorry, with your friend with the idea, agriculture and taking the samples, yeah, you need to have open ears and eyes to have such people and companies with new ideas and bring them together. You can use these ideas, and if you don't do this and focus on that, what you can do, you will lose the focus. Yeah, manage the effort. For me, this is, yeah, I work for the company. Sometime we will get a return on invest, but what I'm doing here and in other places is voluntary. So I need to do this voluntary because I want to do it. I'm not paid for this here. I'm not paid for many of these things because it's, yeah, for me it's, I'm not from Darmstadt, I must say, but I like this project. I love it. So I'm doing much more than I should do. Yeah. But sometimes it's really hard to get the time to do something. implementation in existing infrastructure. We had really projects with China, and if they decide something, they do it. We made a semi-central waste water treatment plant for big growing cities, which grow 250,000 inhabitants per year. And for this, we created a concept for a completely autark wastewater treatment plant, which can be built into a building of the city. You don't need the area. So for example, in this building could be the treatment plant, recycling completely all the waste. But for this, you need also several water lines. You have the tap water, and this is tap water. You drink it, it's gone. And then you have, we call it the gray water, black water, all the water lines, and these need to be installed when you build a house. You cannot install it afterwards, it's much too expensive at the moment. And there we did it. We installed it, we made, it's running this wastewater treatment plant, but it's also a pilot. In Darmstadt, you have everything fixed. If you want to implement something, it's really difficult. Because it's like it is, I would say. And you cannot tell everybody in the houses here you need 3 water lines. Maybe it will be installed in future when they need to exchange something, but at the moment we have to deal with this. Also with the sewer system, whatever, you don't have the space to be very creative. You need to focus also on the existing infrastructure. So that's it from my side. If you want, you can ask some questions.
Thank you, first of all. May I just add 2 things? First of all, Darmstadt has about 230,000 inhabitants, just to have an idea about the place. Second, Klaus and me, we were talking about the Green Deal. We were talking about Horizon Europe, perhaps you remember. And this, of course, what Nils just presented, it fits completely in this European approach. Yeah? This is important to know. What he did was, let's say, a very good example of what you can do and what has been done already. And the third point, Nils mentioned it already, it's an educational town. So we have a very well-known university, Technical University of Darmstadt, and other universities, and these programs from Entega, perhaps you remember the name, they are all, this is a cooperation, of course, between the local government, the industry, and the universities. They are very much engaged. And of course, you were talking about the grants. It is important that this money is distributed to the partners. And I think this is a value add of such projects, that all people and all institutions are working together to have a good example, a good practice behind that. And I think this is really, I'm living also not directly in Darmstadt, of course, but we follow that. That's incredible what they are doing. But not only him and not Klaus Arendt, this guy from the city, but all together, because there's the will to do something. Horizon Europe, Green Deal, and of course on the local and the regional level to improve our life.
Thank you. So, questions from anyone? Somebody? Yes?
I have checked your website, actually, the website of the company, I mean, and yeah, I was a bit more interested.
Yeah.
And there was like digital day events. Do you have like as well like some training programs or something offered to them?
Yeah.
And is it like, because the first headlines appeared were for mostly like for the companies to be members. within the company. So I don't know, like, do you have like an inside trainings or something in which the members themselves can be more?
You can contact me. There are trainings, online trainings, for example, which you can do. We are a B2B company, not B2C.
Yeah, I realize that.
Yeah. But we offer, of course, trainings for everybody. And also a lot of, for students, we do a lot. We cooperate with a lot of universities, so it's possible.
Yeah, it would be great, I mean, because it's really, it's really, I mean, open company for others, so that makes it like kind of a way to the network and to all the values as well.
Yeah.
To optimize it. It's really good. Thank you.
Thanks also for looking into that.
For example, as you know, we are here in the frame of Erasmus program, but we have a short workshop of 2 weeks. The main key action, you know, is probably to have mobility for 1 semester for study. But you can have mobility for internship or trainship from Erasmus, key action 1. So it is way how to go to companies in all Europe, and you can receive funding from Erasmus project.
Yeah, thanks. We are open for that as well. Yeah. So.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you.